Hello, how's it going? It's Kirsten here. I want to talk about intuitive eating today. A couple of days ago, I asked on my Instagram, go follow me there, whether you want to see a video on intuitive eating or hypothalamic amenorrhea. I talk about both of these things, and most of you guys said intuitive eating, so let's do it. In this video, I want to give you a couple of signs, couple of really good positive signs that are telling you that you are on the right path. So as you may know, I have dieted quite a bit in my life, lost and gained weight several times in my life. I have been on those diets where I had like sets of rules. These are things you can eat, these are things you cannot eat. If I did something wrong, I felt really bad, I felt guilty, and I just wanted to get rid of it. So the way I became intuitive eater was definitely gradual. It was a process. Nobody wakes up the next day after like very disordered eating behaviors or after an eating disorder, waking up saying that I am recovered now, I'm going to start eating intuitively. Doesn't happen like that. It happens over time. But if you start noticing certain signs on this way, on this path to your recovery, then you can be really sure that good things are happening and that you are actually becoming an intuitive eater. So here are the 6 things that I noticed throughout this journey, gradually, every day something new over several months, that told me that, yes, I'm doing the right thing. I'm finding this mental freedom. I'm not obsessed about food anymore, until to the point where now I don't really think about food much. Eating is really effortless, enjoyable, and it's still healthy. So here are the 6 things that I noticed in my eating. I stopped doing all the diets. I bet you knew this was coming, but I just have to say it. I have to say it first because that's the most important thing. You cannot be on a diet and say that you are an intuitive eater, because all diets come with sets of rules. There are foods that you can eat, there are foods that you cannot eat. There's certain times when you're supposed to eat and certain times when you're not supposed to eat. There's so many rules, and if you find yourself that not following these rules anymore, if you find that you actually eat foods that you want to eat, then this is a great sign that you're really listening to your body and you are getting really closer to your goal, which is learning to eat intuitively. The second thing is that you are not staring at the clock anymore to know when it is the right time to eat or should I stay away from eating. So that's, for example, one of these things that when you do things like fasting or intermittent fasting, which by the way is really bad if you have hypothalamic amenorrhea. I made a video about that. I'm gonna link it to here so you can check it out, why I do not recommend intermittent fasting if you have hypothalamic amenorrhea. But also, if you want to learn to eat intuitively, you cannot be so that, okay, it's 8 o'clock, I must eat now, and then the next 8 hours I cannot eat. If you're coming from like a bodybuilding background and you're like, I have to eat like at 8 and 10 and 12 and 2 and 4 and 6 and 8, this is not intuitive. If you want to become an intuitive eater, no, this is not how you do it. Your body doesn't usually work like a clockwork. Some days you're hungry when you woke up, other days you are not hungry when you wake up. It's definitely not intuitive to eat according to what the clock says. If you find yourself letting go of this rule and not staring at the clock all the time to know when it's time to eat, you can be sure that you are doing the right thing. The next thing is that you are actually really eating what you would like to eat. And you don't have these thoughts in your mind, is this right? Is this wrong? What should I be eating? What should I be avoiding? If you maybe find yourself eating something that you used to think is bad for you, and now you're having it, you're like, oh my God, I am actually eating pasta right now, then this is absolutely cool. I'm really excited for you. Congratulations, you're definitely getting better intuitive eater. So I'm going to give you an example. We often go to Whole Foods for lunch or for dinner if we don't feel like cooking. And there's this big salad bar and a hot bar. I remember when I was doing my strict paleo, I'm not even going to mention the Weight Watchers, which was like a total craziness to me. But for example, when I did strict paleo, then eating pasta or mac and cheese was like absolutely no, like big no, the biggest ever. Pasta with all the wheat in it, cheese with all the dairy in it, cooked in who knows what kind of like, probably more milk. I don't know. What do you put in mac and cheese? Milk probably, right? I tried to make mac and cheese once, turned out fine. I did put milk in it. So there's wheat, there's dairy, there's a lot of fat. And then I go to Whole Foods and now I'm like, yeah, I feel like eating some mac and cheese and I'm not making a big deal out of it. It doesn't have a meaning of good and bad. I'm just eating it because I just freaking feel like eating mac and cheese. Yep. The fourth sign that you are on the right way, you are becoming an intuitive eater, is that you don't remember every single detail about your last meal or the meal before or the meals from yesterday. You also don't know all the exact amounts. So I've had people tell me that I'm becoming much better at eating. I'm listening to my body. For example, today I had like 15 almonds as my snack. So how do you know that you had exactly 15 almonds? You must have counted them. It's not intuitive. Of course, you may know like approximately, yeah, it was like a small handful. But if you're saying that you ate 15 almonds, the fifth great sign that you are becoming an intuitive eater is that you don't have rules or rituals around food and eating. I'm going to give you an example of what I used to do. So I would always work out the first thing in the morning without any food. To me, it felt wrong to eat before. I can eat after I have worked out, and this is kind of the way I earned my food. So that was my ritual. Don't eat before you train. I've also heard people have rituals like I always have to leave something on the plate when I eat out at a restaurant. How is that intuitive? It's not really intuitive because you have still this thing in your mind, I must leave something. What if you're really hungry? What if you're super hungry and yes, you have a big plate of whatever you ordered and you really do want to eat all of it, but then you're like, I can't because I promised myself that I'll leave some there. And last thing, the sixth thing that I want to mention, how you know that you are becoming an intuitive eater, is that you never really feel stuffed. And that's amazing, especially for someone who struggles with binge eating for several years. That was me. Yes, I binge ate all the time, so much food. Not all the time, like once a month, then twice a month, then once every week, then one day turned into 2 days. I was binging like crazy. I was so stuffed. But now it doesn't happen to me anymore. Of course, it's not to say that I never eat a little too much. It does happen sometimes. And I think this is totally normal part of intuitive eating too. Somebody brings out your favorite chocolate cake and you were not planning to eat it, but then you're like, oh my God, I really want it. So you probably have a piece of chocolate cake. But these things don't happen often anymore. And the fullness is never so bad that you can't move yourself or that you regret eating or that you think how you're going to burn it off. This is not what I'm talking about. You just might feel a little uncomfortable sometimes, but honestly, it happens really rarely. Right now, I'm totally able to put my fork down, finish, say that I'm done, and move on with my life. I really hope that you're seeing these signs in your eating too, because in my opinion, eating intuitively is really the only way to eat normally, to eat as stress-free as possible, and to eat effortlessly. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. Or you have any questions or any comments, please let me know in the comments below. Also visit my blog, urbanjane.co. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.